Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Ashokan Hello. I'm your host today, Allie Britton, and I am really excited to share some footage with you. We have our good friend Rachel Rosen out in the Gorge. She is at the trailhead right now, and we're going to be joining her on a virtual hike as she goes through the gorge looking for signs of spring. This hike is extra special today because it happens to be the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, one of our favorite environmental movements. I want to give a quick special shout out to the following schools who I know are tuned in with us today. We have Packer Collegiate, we have FG Lindsay, and we have Pine Plains Seymour Smith. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. Below on the website, you will see a bunch of links that can assist you through this virtual hike. One of those resources is a scavenger hunt. I suggest pulling up the scavenger hunt and kind of following along as you watch our hike in the video. Another one of the links is a website where you can get some history about Earth Day. And if you are interested in birds, we also have a link to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Please say hello in the chat next to the video. You can ask questions, you can make comments, and I will be there to answer them in real time. So over to you, Rachel. Let's hike.
Thanks, Allie. So we are here at the Covered Bridge Trail at the Ashokan Center, and we're about to go on a hike and see if we can find some signs of spring. Even though it's mid-April here in the Catskills, it's only in the mid-40s today, so it's still pretty chilly. But the signs of spring are here. We just have to take a closer look at the forest to find them. So let's go on a hike. Look what we have here. So in the gorge there's a lot of barberry, which is an invasive species, but some pluses of this invasive species is that it provides habitat for a lot of our spring friends. Our avian friends, birds, are some of the first signs of spring that you may see when you're out in the forest. Some birds stick around all winter, but other birds come back in the spring when things start to warm up because they are migrating. That means that during the winter time, they're seeking warmer weather, so they fly south, and in the spring, they appear back up here. Some birds that stick around all winter are cardinals, nuthatch, and black-capped chickadees. So you may have seen some of them at your feeders this winter. Other birds that only come around during the warmer weather might be Baltimore orioles, goldfinches, and sparrows. So look out for those birds as the weather starts to warm up. I think if we go this way, we might see another sign of spring. Follow me. Going through some of that barberry, which is a really nice habitat for our friends. Oh wow! Right here, we have some ramps. Ramps come up really early in the spring, so they're a great sign that the weather is starting to warm up. This is an edible plant, and it's very desirable because it has a great onion garlicky flavor, and it's used in a lot of culinary dishes. We have a few ramps growing here at Ashokan, but if you leave them here and you don't harvest them each year, your ramp population will get bigger and bigger as the years go by. Let's keep going. If we listen, you can actually hear a lot of the birds living in the barberry right now. If you out there are interested in birding, you should wake up really early, like 6 a.m., and go out into your backyard, because that's when the birds are most active. It's when they're looking for food, and it is in mating season right now, so they're also looking for mates, so they're really loud. Here is another great sign of spring. This is called Skunk Cabbage, and its name comes from, let's smell, Ugh, the smell of the plant. It smells like skunks. Bears love to eat this, and if you rub it on your body, it will help repel animals from getting near you, and I can see why. It stinks. This is not edible. You don't want to eat this. Alright, trees are also a really great sign where you can find signs of spring. So this tree right here is beginning to bud. This is a deciduous tree, and that means that this tree lost all of its leaves over the winter, and then it will grow back in the spring. These buds actually formed last summer, and they overwintered and stayed dormant, and then when they sensed it was warm and spring was coming, they popped up, and these will become either leaves or flowers. The other type of tree that you find in our gorge are conifers, and they have needles. So this is from a hemlock, and this is from a white pine. These needles stay on the tree all year round. They're evergreens. So the hemlock, here's one right here. And something really cool about the white pine is that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 needles in every bunch. And how many letters are in the word white? 5. So that's a really cool way to help you identify a white pine. Let's keep hiking. Look at this. So this is a really awesome sign of spring. Does anyone know what that is? That's right, it's an acorn. And this acorn has actually begun to sprout. So not only are acorns a great source of food for squirrels and chipmunks, but maybe if we leave this one in the forest, one day it will grow into a tree. So let's toss it over there off the trail. Bye. Does anyone know what this is? This is a trail marker, and when you are hiking, either close to your home or in a big national park or state park, you always want to stay on the trail and follow the trail markers. This will help you not get lost, and it also helps to keep all of the impact from you hiking on the trail. Oh, here's some more signs of life from some of our spring friends. You can see these holes right here. These are probably from a woodpecker. Some woodpeckers stay around all winter, others migrate and come back in the spring, but you can see that they've really done a good job on this tree. So that's pretty cool. What do you guys think they're looking for? Probably some grubs or maybe little insects that live underneath the bark. This tree is dead, so it's definitely a good spot for them to be looking. All right, we're right here near the Asopus Creek, and we're looking for some insects, and we actually found a water strider. So tons of insects are starting to come out because of the warmer weather, and the water strider is one of the first critters to be spotted. And they just float right on top of the water looking for microorganisms to eat. It's pretty cool. All right, let's keep hiking and see what we find. There's so many signs of spring out here. All right, everyone, we are about to enter Cathedral Gorge. For those of you that might be curious what a gorge is a land formation that has steep rocky cliffs on either side. So you can see this one really well, and there's something similar on the other side, and there's always a body of water that's running through it, and in this case that is the Asopus Creek. It's going to get a little tough terrain, so hang in there with me as we hike. So here we also have some little pools from the creek. I see some more water striders floating around on there. Let's take a closer look and see if we see anything else. Might have all gotten washed away. I don't see anything right now, but this is the perfect habitat for lots of amphibians to lay their eggs, some salamanders, some frogs. Maybe it's just a little too early in the spring right now. Maybe they all got killed. These muddy areas are a great place to look for animal tracks. So animals become super active in the spring because there's lots of food to be found everywhere. So let's take a look what we have. Look at this one right here. That looks really similar to our hand. Does anyone want to guess what they think that might be? Here's a really good example right here. If you guessed a raccoon, you're right. It is a raccoon. What else do we have here? Oh, this is from the elusive human. That's pretty cool. Oh, here's another track. It's really tiny. Any guesses what that might be? Probably a little squirrel coming down here to look for some food, maybe some more acorns. This is a really cool spot. Oh, and I see one more. This one looks really different from the ones that we've seen before, and that is from a deer. They probably came down here to get some water. This was a good spot. Let's keep going. So as we've seen, there are signs of spring everywhere, but sometimes you have to look down to see, signs of spring. This is mullein right here, and this is an early spring plant. It is a medicinal plant that you can use for many different things, and it's super soft, and this is one of the first things to pop up when the weather starts to get warm. When it matures, it gets a big, tall shoot and usually gets yellow flowers on it. So we can look out for that later in the summer. Wow, here's another early spring plant, and it's really pretty. This is called Trillium. What do we know about Trillium? Trillium is this really beautiful plant, and you can identify it because it has 3 large leaves, and in the middle there's a flower growing out of it. Trillium is native to North America, and you can also spot it with really pretty white flowers, which are more rare than this maroonish flower. Cool, let's keep going. The waterfall is really huge right now because it is fed by a stream that gets bigger from snow melt in the spring. Good. Let's pop over some trees. That's beautiful. Our gorge really changes with the seasons. In the winter, all of this is completely covered in ice, and then in the spring, as that melts, we get to enjoy this really beautiful, huge waterfall. I don't know if I've seen it this big in a long time. All right, I'm about to flip over a couple rocks to see if I can find any macroinvertebrates that you learned about last week with Allie. This water, since it has the waterfall, has a lot of oxygen in it, so we might find some crayfish. I don't see anything right now, but that doesn't mean they're not here. All right, are you all ready for the most challenging part of our hike? This is the deer trail. We use it as a connecting trail from our lower gorge trail to the upper gorge trail, but steep, narrow trails like this would be used by deer to get up steep cliff sides. So let's act like a deer and get up there. Here's some more trillium. Good job, everyone. We made it up the deer trail. Something super important whenever you're hiking, always bring water. This is a really cool thing that you see in early spring. So right here, this is a fiddlehead fern, and this will unfold and become a fern just like this right here. This is not an edible fiddlehead fern. You have to find the ostrich ferns, but this is still really cool to see. And it only takes a couple days to open up and become a full-grown fern. Keep going. Here's another example that you have to look down when you're looking for signs of spring. Here's a little toad friend right here. This is an American toad. Oh, there he goes, hopping away. So now we're actually going to go look for vernal pools where toads just like him would have laid their eggs. Hop. Oh. No. He's scared. Yeah. So vernal pools are seasonal habitats for many different species. They can be used as a place for different amphibians to lay their eggs, also a place for animals to get some drinking water. Let's see if we see Chris. Oh, look! Right here. I don't know if our camera can get it, but right there we can see two places where different amphibians have laid their eggs. Possibly different frogs or toads or salamanders would have come here to lay their eggs. And these pools form in the spring after winter melt, and then in the summer they'll dry up, so they won't be here when it gets super hot out. That was a pretty cool find. Oh, I can see some more eggs over here. So in a few short weeks, this area will be just overwhelmed with maybe different frogs or toads when all of those eggs hatch. That's really cool. Awesome. Let's follow our own rules and get back on the trail. Thanks for joining us on our gorge hike looking for spring signs. We're going to go back to Allie in just a moment, but keep your eyes open for signs of spring. Make sure you're looking down at the ground just like you saw today, and we'll see you next week. Back to you, Allie.
Wow, that was so awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. I hope everybody out there learned something today, or at least saw something really neat while you were on your virtual hike. After this, we have a wonderful springtime song brought to you by Little Roots, which is Maggie Shar and Annie Stevenson. If you like the banjo, you might want to give it a try. Check out Ashokan's online Rollick this weekend. There is a link below on this website, and Maggie Shar will actually be teaching banjo lessons to people of all ages via Zoom. So make sure you click that link and stay tuned for the song. Thanks everybody so much for watching and following along with us here today. Tune in next week, same time, same place, and we're going to be giving you a blacksmithing lesson. All right, take it away, Little Roots.
Hi. Hello. I'm Maggie. And I'm Annie. We're Little Roots. And we have a song about spring for you. Goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fly around, my pretty little bird. Fly around, my darling. Fly around, my pretty little bird. Thought I heard you calling. Robin up in the cherry